Live from our Culture Studios in Blantyre, we bring you the latest edition of MBC News with me, Obile Kaisa. The headlines. Government pledges to continue protecting the legacy of the late Dr. Hastings Kamuzu Banda as Ministry of Homeland Security justifies the use of tear gas on MCP supporters. The death toll in the Chikwawa Nsanje mob violence has risen to 8. And the review of minimum wage is progressing well as government works on aligning it with the cost of living. And now the news in detail. Government says none of the country's political parties, including the Malawi Congress Party, MCP, is above the laws governing public assemblies and processions. Homeland Security Minister Peter Mukito says this in a press statement after police in Lilongwe on Thursday afternoon fired tear gas at unauthorized marching of Malawi Congress Party supporters who were marching to the Kamuzu Banda's mausoleum to lay wreaths as the country commemorated the Kamuzu Day. The supporters were led by their president, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera. According to Mukito, the recent actions by the Malawi Police Service to stop an unlawful political procession must therefore be understood within the broader responsibility of maintaining public order and protecting lives and preserving national security. Mukito further says that in situations where organizers proceed with public demonstrations without complying with legal requirements and established security procedures, the police are left with the difficult but necessary responsibility of intervening to prevent disorder and possible confrontation. The government has further urged all political players to demonstrate responsible leadership by respecting lawful procedures and cooperating with security institutions at all times, noting that democracy thrives not through confrontation with law enforcement agencies, but through mutual respect for constitutional order, dialogue and adherence to the rule of law. Government has pledged to continue protecting the legacy of the first president of the country, the late Dr. Hastings Kamuzu Banda, because of his landmark contributions to the country. Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Alfred Gangata, said this at Kamuzu Mausoleum in Lilongwe during Kamuzu Day Remembrance event where he represented President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika. He said among the many things Kamuzu Banda promoted were agriculture and education, hence the need to continue honoring him. From Lilongwe, Patrick Dambola reports.
Once again, Malawians of all walks of life converged at the Kamuzu Mausoleum in the heart of Lilongwe City to honor the late Hastings Kamuzu Banda, who was the first president of Malawi. He died on 25th November 1997 and was laid to rest on 3rd December 1997. It is therefore in the spirit of honoring the fallen hero that Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture Alfred Gangata, who was delegated by President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, led the nation in paying homage to the late Kamuzu. Others followed suit in laying their wreaths, and they included First Deputy Speaker of Parliament Victor Musowa, a family representative Kumbize Chiponda, former official government hostess Cecilia Tamanda Kadzamira, and Dean of Diplomatic Corps Nancy Saungweme. In his address, Gangata said government will continue to honor the late Kamuzu, considering the many contributions he made to the country.
During his time as the president, he encouraged the spirit of hard work and also championed agriculture as the backbone of Malawi's economy. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, there were previous attempts to erase the name of Kamuzu Banda from the minds of Malawians and from the history books. However, the DPP-led government under the late Professor Bengwa Mutharika constructed this mausoleum in 2006 to preserve the legacy of Dr. Banda. In the same spirit, DPP-led government will continue to honor this true Malawian hero.
During a sermon which followed thereafter, Reverend Chatan Sangambe of the CCAP Church described the late Kamuzubanda as a selfless and peace-loving person who, after getting higher education in the United States and the United Kingdom, still returned home to Malawi to lead the struggle against the British colonialism.
How he stepped down and accepted defeat from the ballot, everybody was surprised. Everybody was surprised. He had everything that it took.
A family representative, Ken Kandodo, later thanked the government for constructing the mausoleum in 2006 and taking over the organization of the Remembrance Day from the family. Kandodo then asked the government to consider constructing additional structures at the mausoleum under phase 2 of the project, which are a library and offices.
What I would want to see, the first and foremost, is to have a fence, constructed a fence. And then thereafter, we need to have a resource center, or I should say library, but also an office where we can have stores where to keep things that are used here. So I know it can be a lot of money, but as a government, they can phase in bit by bit over a number of years, possibly, until everything is complete.
The day was commemorated under the theme, Kamuzu, the benchmark of servant leadership, uniting Malawians and prospering together. Patrick Dambula, MPC News, Lilongwe.
Beautify Malawi BIM Trust says collaboration is key to achieving a cleaner, healthier and more dignified Malawi. BIM Trust representative Fani Kachale said this after inspecting Rumpi District Hospital, one of the health facilities the trust has adopted. More in this report by Mwain Tumodzi. We apologize for we are unable to give you that report. Moving on, Minister of Information and Communications Technology, Shadrack Namalomba, says government intends to put in place mechanisms aimed at ensuring initiatives under the Digital Malawi Acceleration Project are serving their purpose. Speaking in Zomba after appreciating works of the project, the minister said the project aligns with Malawi's development aspirations of going digital in service delivery and improve internet connectivity. We have a report by Geoffrey Shinawa.
At the University of Malawi, UNIMA, the project is enhancing provision of free internet services to students, while at the National Statistical Office, NSO, the project has supported the institution with about 30 computers and 5 printers. According to Namalomba, for the project to remain relevant and sustainable, government will champion introduction of monitoring mechanisms for the installed gadgets in a bid to enhance efficiency.
You can imagine that now students are able to access online materials to conduct their research and to further their knowledge. Gone are the days where it will take you ages and ages, you have to buy books and so forth. You can just get scholarly material on a click of a button using you're using this connectivity. So it is changing, team-up is changing lives. And even the data, the speed of that data, speed of connectivity has actually tremendously improved. And that where we're coming from, it was almost impossible to access information from the internet. They're able to provide online classes. Online classes, students need not to come to the campus and to take courses. They can take the same courses online, and this is the power of the project that we have now, which we are championing as the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology.
Vice Chancellor for the University of Malawi, UNIMA, Samson Sajidu, held the ministry for championing internet connectivity and digital transformation.
So what we'll be doing is basically to keep on monitoring. We have our ICT team. Immediately after this, they will check what is actually causing the weak signal, because it's not the availability of the internet speed. The internet speed is there, as I've mentioned, is 1,500 Mbps, but now the actual signal, and we'll improve on that. It's good that we have noted those challenges. For us, because as management, we were being told that things are perfect, having actually upped the total speed. So we thought everything is perfect, but unfortunately the signals are weak, and we'll work on that immediately so that the students are able to access internet without challenges.
Concurring with Sajidu, NSO's Commission of Statistics, Shilton Kanyanda, said collaboration is important in embracing the ever-changing digital sector.
DMAP has come at the right time when the NSO is transforming in line with the government policy to digitize. So they have given us 30 computers, of which 20 are desktops and 10 laptops. And these are helping a lot. First of all, we are developing a new website, and this work of developing a new website is being done using these computers.
DMAP is a World Bank supported project which, among others, is set to connect 2,000 schools to free internet. Jeffrey Shinawa, MBC Zomba.
And now back to our earlier story. Beautify Malawi BIM Trust says collaboration is key to achieving a cleaner, healthier and more dignified Malawi. BIM Trust representative Fani Kachale said this after inspecting Rumpi District Hospital, one of the health facilities the trust has adopted. Details in this report by Mwain Tomodzi.
The Beautify Malawi BIM Trust has intensified its efforts to inspect sanitation in health facilities. BIM representative Fani Kachali said the initiative seeks to promote collaborative efforts aimed at achieving quality service delivery in public health facilities. During the latest inspection exercise at Rumpi District Hospital, Kachali emphasized the need for collaboration in sanitation and hygiene to ensure that the hospital delivers high-quality services. She said sanitation remains at the heart of BIM Trust patron First Lady Professor Gertrude Mutarika's agenda.
Our patron, the First Lady, she always talks of a beautiful Malawi, sanitation everywhere. And we know that if sanitation starts from home, it is available at the hospital, it is available in our schools, in our markets, in our cities. It means this is going to build up and make the Malawi that we want to see. Indeed, Rumpi is one of the 7 adopted hospitals. We have asked them to make their work plan so that we see, they know the challenges that they are having and where they want to be. Actually, in terms of star rating, they are at star number 2, and they would want to reach star number 5. So they can only meet that if their sanitation condition at the hospital is up to that standard. So we'll move with them.
Rumpi District Environmental Health Officer Chisomo Pili disclosed that the facility is struggling to handle a growing number of patients compared to the population it was designed to serve 50 years ago when it was opened.
Some of the key challenges that we are facing is inadequate toilets or wash facilities or sanitation facilities at our hospital, because our hospital is old. So some of the facilities or toilets at the OPD as well as in some of the wards are not functional. So with the number of clients and the patients that we have on daily basis, it does not go with the recommended ratio, which is 1 to 20, which means that one toilet is supposed to be used by 20 clients or 20 patients. So in addition to that, we're also having challenges at the guardian shelter, where currently we don't have toilets because they were demolished or damaged due to the rains. So currently they're using temporary toilets which are also full. And this has brought so many challenges in terms of sanitation at our facility as well as at the guardian shelter.
Rumpi District Hospital is among 7 public health facilities that the Beautify Malawi BIM Trust has adopted to improve hygiene and sanitation services as one way of enhancing service delivery in the health sector. Mwaim Tumodzi, MBC News.
Presidential Advisor on Parliamentary Affairs, Reverend Christopher Mzomera has appealed to Nkatabe District Council to promote transparency and accountability in the implementation of the 5 billion Kwacha Constituency Development Fund projects. Reverend Gwira made the appeal at a stakeholders meeting he graced in the district together with Minister of Justice Charles Muhango. George Mkandawiri reports.
Reverend Ngwira, who is also ruling DPP regional governor for the northern region, emphasized that accountability remains key in promoting democracy and good governance in any country. He further said development projects must reflect the needs and priorities of the people, not imposed by the council secretariat. Reverend Ngwira further stated that it is the wish of the state president, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, that every corner of the country enjoys development.
When they are assisting the community, they shouldn't take an advantage just because maybe our communities, constituency development committees, they might not know everything. So I was telling them that we rely on each other. Those people at the grassroots, the constituency development committee, area development committee, they rely on the advice from the office of district commissioner. That is a direct point which I made, that you must support those committees to come up with at least the work that is reasonable to the people, durable work that will last long. We don't want to have a project today. You finish the project, 1-2 years, that project has been destroyed. It's no more there.
In his remarks, Nkarabe District Council Chairperson Hanok Kajingwe said the council is ready to work with all stakeholders in advancing development in the district. He has since commended the presidential advisor for gracing the occasion and appealed for support in changing people's lives socially and economically. Member of Parliament for Nkarabe Central Constituency Simon Vua Kaunda said people in his constituency are looking forward to various development projects, including improved road networks and increased access to potable and clean water. After the official opening, Reverend Ngwira, who is also Democratic Progressive Party DPP regional governor for the North, interacted with party officials where he appealed to supporters to continue living in unity and hard working for betterment of the nation. George Nkandawire, MBC, Nkadabe.
Remember, you're watching MBC News. A reminder of our top stories. Government pledges to continue protecting the legacy of the late Dr. Hastings Kamuzu Banda as Ministry of Homeland Security justifies the use of tear gas on MCP supporters. The death toll in the Chikwawa and Sanje mob violence has risen to 8. And the review of minimum wage is progressing well as government works on aligning it with the cost of living. Welcome back. The death toll in the Chikwawa and Nsanja mob violence has risen to 8. This follows the death of an injured victim at Chikwawa District Hospital, while police confirmed that over 90 suspects are now in custody as calm begins to return in the communities. Speaking to MBC, the Commissioner of Police for Southeast Region, Frank Kamukamo, revealed that the number of arrests is increasing as investigations to track down perpetrators continue. Commissioner Kamukamo further emphasized that the malpractice of mob justice will not be tolerated. Police continue to monitor the situation closely as the past 72 hours it has not registered any act of violence or mob justice, as the public is reminded that spreading false rumors is a punishable offense under the law.
The impact has been quite huge. Right now, we can confidently say that for the past 72 hours or so, we haven't registered any case. Either somebody claiming that their private parts are missing or any cases of mob justice. So the interventions that we are doing, patrols, ambushes to arrest suspects, bearing fruit. And we have informants all over in Nsanje and Chikwawa. They are giving us information. We are getting new information almost each and every minute, and the moment we get the information, we are acting on it. Right now, we have arrested more than 90. The arrests are continuing, so the figure keeps on changing. But right now, I think we are over 90, and Some we are still processing, but the majority of them we have already processed and remanded them in custody so that our investigations can continue.
Ministry of Labour, Skills and Innovation says the review of minimum wage is progressing well as they try to align it with the cost of living. Director of Administration in the ministry, George Masinga, said this during the Labour Day commemoration that there's a district council organised. Austin Fukula reports.
Masinga says government is keen to ensure that minimum wage, which is at 72,000 for domestic workers and 150,000 for those working in shops and industrial companies, is reviewed. He, however, could not commit the time frame. They hope the exercise will be finalized.
As a government, we are indeed very committed, and as you have witnessed, the Labour Day is an international day of celebration of the worker. And in Malawi, for the first time, the district has organized this Labour Day so that we achieve the corporate objective of His Excellency the President.
District Commissioner for Dedza, Rosemary Nawasha, says lack of compliance to set minimum wage and violation of workers' rights are some of the challenges the district is facing. This is why she says the commemoration of Labour Day at district level serves as a sensitization too.
We do inspections through our officers, as you heard, so we are always in talk with the employers. Some of them, they are complying, most of them. Yeah, to those who are not complying, we are still negotiating because you can't force them to do that.
While some employers are struggling to pay their workers based on minimum wages set by government, GCM Power says it puts welfare and safety of its employees at heart. Tuonge Hara is Human Resource and Social Manager for the company.
We're coming in as a good stakeholder for government, working together with the district labour office to make sure that we are actually offering the right expectations in line with labour laws to the district at large. As JCM, we are working within the district and we've also complied in terms of labour compliances as required to labour law.
The District Council Labour Day commemoration was first of its kind to be held at district level. The event was held under the theme Achieving Decent Work and Inclusive Growth through Promoting Workers' Rights and Skills Development. Austin Fugura, NBC News, Lilongwe.
Minister of Defence Feston Kaupa has expressed gratitude to the Norwegian government for its long-standing support to Malawi in key sectors such as agriculture, education, health and others. He made the remarks in Lilongwe during the Norwegian celebrations of the Constitutional Day. Bridget Makawa has filed this report read in our studios by Trinity Kapantengo.
Speaking on Tuesday evening at the Norwegian Embassy during celebrations marking Norway's Constitution Day in Malawi, Kaupa said Malawi is ready to open its doors wider to Norwegian investors and businesses. He also noted that by creating a business-friendly environment, Malawi aims to reduce donor dependency and move towards economic independence through industrial partnerships and knowledge sharing.
The appeal that I've made in my speech that we would also want to attract Norwegian investors, Norwegian business people to come into this country and invest so that we do not only look at economic cooperation or development cooperation, but we should also be looking at economic cooperation that will lead to economic prosperity for both Malawi as well as for the people of Norway. So we as a government, we are looking forward to developing our country.
For her part, Norwegian ambassador to Malawi, Annie Sof Zealand, reaffirmed Norway's commitment to supporting the people of Malawi. She said the embassy remains focused on fighting poverty and improving livelihoods. Zealand added that Norway's current strategy prioritizes social protection and ensuring that all citizens have access to quality health care, including sexual and reproductive health rights.
We are committed to continue, and as I also mentioned in my speech, we will have to look at the new ways of cooperating with Malawi and prioritize differently, probably, in the future. But we will continue to support them in their development efforts, also in the future.
Also present at the celebrations was Minister of Finance, Joseph Mwanamveka, Minister of Agriculture, Rosa Fachimbilizi, and Minister of Gender, Marina Vicha, also attended the event.
Minister of Justice Charles Mhango says government is working tirelessly to resolve ongoing land disputes in Kasasire and Kawalazi in Nkatabe as soon as possible. Mhango said the leadership of Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika is committed to ensuring that people live in peace. George Mkandawire speaks to Mhango.
We know as government that there are serious land wrangles disputes in two hotspots in the northern region, mainly Kasasire. There basically the wrangles are between the MDF and the local communities. Then another hotspot is the Kawalazi estate, between the investors who are managing the Kawalazi tea estate and the local communities. I want to assure the nation that the government of His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika is fully aware of the two hotspots on land wrangles in the northern region, both Kasasire and the Kawalazi. And it is the objective, the mission of His Excellency the President, that these two hotspots on land wrangles in the north should be resolved as soon as possible. So I want to assure people of Nkatabe and partly people of Nkatabe and Rumpi who are affected by Kasasire land wrangles that according to His Excellency's mission, objective is that these two land wrangles should be resolved.
Nkatabe District Commissioner David Gondwe said the disputes have negatively affected development as people continue to engage in conflicts and destroy property. He explains.
People there have very little focus now on development. They are wasting time or spending more time on wrangles. There are encroachments, there are fights, there are arrests being made. The situation is always tensed up. So as a council, we're very happy that the minister came here together with the presidential advisor on parliamentary affairs to also appreciate what really is happening on the ground. So what we've heard from these officials is very encouraging. It is giving us an assurance that a solution is coming.
Well, that item concludes this edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories before we leave. Government pledges to continue protecting the legacy of the late Dr. Hastings Kamuzu Banda as Ministry of Homeland Security justifies the use of tear gas on MCP supporters. The death toll in the Chikwawa Nsanje mob violence has risen to 8. And the review of minimum wage is progressing well as government works on aligning it with the cost of living. For live news updates, visit our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You are with me, Obile Gaisa. Thanks for watching. Good morning.
Good morning and welcome. It's time for weather update. We are expecting windy and partly cloudy conditions accompanied by isolated showers over the country. Foggy conditions are also anticipated mainly over highlands and in valley areas. Mwela winds are expected to blow over our water bodies. Therefore, all users are advised to exercise all necessary precautions to avoid loss of life and property. All these conditions are due to the influence of a high pressure system here, which is expected to bring in some cool and fairly moist southeasterly air mass into our country. This morning, expect cool to mild conditions over the country. Mzuzu is expected to reach a minimum temperature of about 16 degrees Celsius 15 over Lilongwe, 17 over Blantyre, while Gabu and Nsanje will reach about 21 degrees Celsius. We should also expect windy and partly cloudy conditions accompanied by isolated showers mainly over some lakeshore as well as southern areas. In the afternoon, hot conditions are expected over some areas, but warm over Mzuzu, Blantyre as well as Lilongwe. The same afternoon, expect windy and partly cloudy conditions with isolated showers over the southern part of the country. Thanks for watching. I'm Charity Mabondo. Be wise, be weather-wise.
Ndiwandireni ku program yathu inanso ya moyo wa Tanzi lero pamene tili mboma lino la Blantyre makamaka ku Blantyre Day Show. Kumeneko tukumana ndi mkulu oyang'anira ntchito zoteteza ku matendo osiyanasiyana kuno ku Blantyre Day Show amene ali a Innocent Mvula. Iwowa tufuna tikambirane nawo kama atigawire limodzi zokhuzana ndi nthenda ya kolera. Ndi tikhale limodzi. Dzina langa ndi Chini Chinsamba. Tuwandireni program yathu ya lero.
Ndathokoza kwambiri.
Zikomo. Poyamba kolera. Thaya dzinja kolera imavuta kwambiri.